So in the first part of our wellness questionnaire podcast, we talked about the McLean research that supported subjective questionnaires and objective information. We talked about the 5 questions that you might ask in a questionnaire, including fatigue, sleep, muscle soreness, stress, and mood level. And we talked about the scale being 1 to 5. And the one thing that we see with a lot of different sports science programs is a simple math problem. You take the values and you say, well, 1 through 25 is the best score that you can have. So if everybody's a 25, then they're all great. And the reality is that you have subjective indicators here. And what you want to do is you want to normalize the data for the individual instead of trying to score everybody the same. So we're going to get into a little bit of math here and actually talk about how we're going to do that. What we're going to do is we're going to create a z-score value. And we do z-score values instead of standard deviation changes because of the difference in somebody who might have high variance. And I'll talk about that in a second. But first, what you want to do is you want to take your values and do a moving average. And the moving average might be the last 6 data values that you had. So you have a 6-day moving average from the previous 6 data points. You store that as a value. The next is you take a standard deviation moving average. And basically the moving standard deviation is the same type of thing. You take the standard deviation score from the last 6 values. And then finally you get a z-score by subtracting the moving average from the current value and dividing that by the moving standard deviation. So we take a look at 3 different athletes who have a difference in the way that they actually score their data. One of them is highly optimistic and he scores a lot of 4s and 5s. The other one is highly pessimistic, scores a lot of 1s and 2s. And my third athlete is wildly variant. He scores a lot of 1s and 5s. Now, if we were just using standard deviation change, the variance wouldn't be accounted for. So z-scores help flatten out that data set so you can look for the changes in the z-score instead of looking for the changes in those 1s and 5s. Our friend Matt Hawley at Notre Dame actually uses a color code for getting warnings on that z-score once he has them. Basically, he goes with the stoplight approach, the green, red, and yellow. Anything over a 0.5 is a good change. It's a green. Anything that's between a 0.5 and a negative 0.5 stays in the gray. It's not enough to be concerned about. Anything between a negative 0.5 and negative 1.5 is yellow. That's my area of concern and warning. And then finally, anything below a negative 1.5 is red. That's where I step in and have my intervention. When you normalize your data and you color code based on something that is flattened out for all different cases for subjective indicators, now you can actually make judgment calls on the data instead of just saying, I'm going to look at the numbers from 1 to 5 or 1 to 25. Z-scores are your key to helping understand this information in a much better way.
To get your weekly dose of applied sports science updates, go to CoachMePlus.com and subscribe to our weekly newsletter. That's CoachMePlus.com.